Good evening, everybody. This is the Veiled Reckoning, where we try to find the truth, even if it makes us uncomfortable. So, sorry if the truth makes you uncomfortable. Sometimes the truth hurts, sometimes it's uncomfortable. It just is what it is, but that's what we do here. Okay? So, buckle in, grab a snack, grab your friend, share, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you. All right, so let's dive right into today's episode. It's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy day. There's been, I don't know, for you guys that aren't on X, I haven't really been on X much lately, but it was kind of like I popped in and I was like, wow, what did I miss? It's like everybody, and I'm sure that you guys have seen from other podcasters talking about it, is that there just seems to be a lot of disagreements and a lot of, I guess, what they're calling infighting. Um, and yeah, it's kind of putting a damper on the investigations. So, um, I guess to that I would say, sometimes as journalists or researchers or truth seekers, whatever you want to call your favorite podcaster who does this work, sometimes in this field, it's you kind of have to pick your battles and you kind of have to know, um, is it worth it? Is this worth it? And then, like some other podcasters were saying, like you kind of have to think about it in the sense that like who are we on the same team? If we're on the same team and we have the same goals, why are we fighting right now? Does this make sense? So yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on that. I feel like there's been enough time spent on it. And I just quite honestly, I don't have the time for it. So I don't know how there's all this infighting because I'm like, I genuinely, if we're gonna get stuff done and we're gonna get to the bottom of these, I just truthfully do not know how you find the time. I really don't. So anyway, enough on that. Um, I want to start our show with something fun actually. So I've had some more fan art sent in. So shout out to those of you who send that. Thank you so much. I love authentic art. I love seeing people's creations and their authenticity in a world full of just constant recreations or AI slop or, whatever. It's nice to see original work. So I wanted to share that with you guys today because I think it looks super cool. Um, move out of the way here. There we go. How cool is that? I mean, so it's so crazy because I don't know how they made this. I feel like it's digital art, which is fine. Like it's still like you still have to be able to draw on whatever you're doing. Um, but it almost kind of looks like it could be like colored pencil art too. I probably should ask. Like, did you use colored pencil? Because like if this is colored pencil, like wow. But even if it isn't, I mean, I wouldn't be able to if someone gave me like an iPad or something and was like, here, make this picture, I would not be able to recreate that. So that is truly talented. Thanks for sharing. I think that that looks super cool. Um, and then let me see. They sent some other stuff too, which was super cool, like this. Now this is obviously penciled. Like this is obviously freehand. Uh, Again, I wouldn't be able to recreate this. So to me, I'm just like, wow, that's super cool to me. And then they also do tattoos. So they sent me a tattoo that they're working on, and believe it or not, it glows in the dark. Like I didn't even know that was a thing. I mean, I think I knew it was a thing. I've seen it before. I don't know that it's super common, or maybe it is, and you just don't know because people aren't just out with glow in the dark tattoos. You can't see it, right? Unless you're like in a black light or something. But it's super cool. And fun fact, because I didn't know. So if you don't know, um, I was wondering if like the ink will fade faster for it being glowing in the dark, but turns out it actually lasts longer. So fun fact for those of you that don't know. So yeah, so thanks for sending that in. I look forward to that. That's just super cool and great job. Keep it up. That's awesome. Um, all right, so I'm gonna dive right in here, and what we're gonna talk about today is gonna be pretty much it's gonna be not necessarily organized, and that's okay because this episode isn't meant to be organized. This episode is kind of just a dump of things that I found while I was researching that I personally just thought was quite weird. Um, Things that I don't think that you will see on this case anywhere else. So we're gonna dive right into that. I came across Timmy Turner's Twitter account from his email. So I do believe that this either was his Twitter account at some point because it was linked to his email. Although people can hack into things, things can, there are a plethora of ways for people to, I guess, doctor this up so that it's not actually his account. Regardless, it's weird. Like, even if this is a fake bot account or something, just the idea behind this account and what it says on it is very weird to me. So that's going to be this right here. I'm going to zoom in on it if it'll let me. Yeah, here we go. Can you guys see that? Um, Let me scroll. And is it gonna let me scroll? Oh yeah, there we go. So this account's called The Other Tim. Okay. And for those of you who don't know his middle name is Jarrell. So his handle was at T Jarrell. And he did use that for his personal email as well. So and then it says, they joined in March of 2009, which would make sense considering the timeline. But it's locked. They're following 210 people, so you can't see who they're following, and they have 67 followers. Can't see any of that. It says these posts are protected. Only confirmed followers have access to at T Jarrell's post and complete profile. So that is all we'll see. But what is interesting, if you haven't noticed already, it's first of all the name at The Other Tim. What is that supposed to be? What do you mean the other Tim? Number one. Number two, it literally says right here, we don't die, we multiply. So are you insinuating that there's clones? Do you guys just make clones? Is that what this is? We don't die, we multiply. Anyway, I just thought that was weird. Do with that what you will. I'm not going to be doing any deep dives on this Twitter account. I mean, if there's people who have access to this Twitter account, if they're following this account and can, you know, want to send me stuff that they think might be relevant, that would be cool. I doubt that they will unless they're a genuine person. Because so far, like I said, if you watched my bonus episode um, earlier in the week, you will see that I have not had anyone reach out to me as to why they're deleting stuff off of their account that from like 10 years ago, which would make zero sense. Um, and specifically why that specific photo they would delete. And as I mentioned in my bonus episode, I'm not surprised that they didn't reach out because it's not like um and I don't know how to say this without coming off as complaining because that's not what this is. I'm not complaining here, and I feel like I have to mention that because there's some influencers or there's some commenters or whatever you want to call them that like if they don't have a huge following, then they're like upset about it. Personally, I'm not. I'm actually even with my small following, it can be a little overwhelming to go from not being in any sort of spotlight at all to even having a tiny one like mine. It is a little bit different. It's I wasn't even planning on showing my face initially, and the fact that I am and the fact that I've kind of gotten out of my shell a little bit on that it can be a little uncomfortable. I think it's necessary, and I'm glad that I did. I don't have any regrets about that, and I've like I said, I've connected with a lot of you, and that's why I don't regret it. And it's truly my viewers who make it all worth it. But with that being said, I know that once you start to get even more of a following and you start to get put even under a bigger spotlight and you start to get put under a microscope, then you get more than just the people who genuinely just like have a good heart and want to watch you or interested in what you have to say. You start to get critics, you start to get people who are um maybe they don't have the best intentions, and it can be problematic in that way. So I'm not talking about my followers out of um what's the word? I'm not out of complaint, okay? That's not what this is. But it's just a fact that, like, for example, someone like I won't even use Candace Owens as an example because it's like just it's like obvious. Like obviously she has the ability to reach out to anybody and get a response. Or if she says something, there's gonna be so many people that see it that it's gonna prompt a response for it. Because if the other person doesn't respond, then it just makes them look like, I mean, like what you're seeing. Like she's asked people in TPUSA questions and they just like they aren't responding and it doesn't look good for them, right? Because it's like, well, why wouldn't you just answer the question? So, but for someone like me who doesn't have much reach, if I say something and it is weird and and if they don't respond, it kind of makes them look um allegedly maybe like they're hiding something. It would be in their best interest to not respond. I know I'm basically giving them advice right now, but I don't have to because they're already doing exactly that. But and the reason for that is because I just don't have enough reach. It would actually be more beneficial for them to just not respond because in hopes that like nobody really ever sees this, nobody ever takes it seriously, and then they just don't have to address it at all. They're just like, well, no one cares what she's saying. Like, it's not like she has like a million followers or even 400,000 or 500,000 followers. Nothing. Like it's not. It doesn't matter. But the reason why I do this isn't because I think that it's gonna blow up and all of this is gonna happen and all of that will come eventually. I think honestly, if people are authentic and they're genuine and they have a passion for what they do, then um whatever comes as a result of that comes as a result of that. So I'm not worried about that part of it because I don't do what I do for that purpose. I do what I do because I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy putting information out there that otherwise, people wouldn't be able to have or just wouldn't have. And and it's important to me. I don't know why. I don't know why. Like I said, I don't know if this is just because God put it in my heart and I'm just being led to do it and I'm going to do it regardless because that's the reason or what. But whatever. I say this to say that in the event that my channel doesn't just become this small niche little channel and it starts to grow and grow and grow, these videos are going to get watched more and more people are going to see them and they're going to be like, "Oh wow, did this guy ever respond to that? Why did he delete it? And why are they in the doing performing these rituals? Why is all of this seem so very weird?" Okay? And then at that point, they may actually end up start responding and then they might start attacking. But like it doesn't make sense to do that right now because it just they don't know how this is going to go. They're probably waiting to see if anything ever happens, if people actually care before they respond. Because otherwise it's like why make something out of nothing? Why would I even bother with the response if nobody cares, right? So that's why for you guys, if you care, like if this is something you care about and you think that the information I've provided is relevant and it should be looked into, then you should like these videos. You should share these videos. Share it on X. Say if whenever you see this case be brought up, or even a similar case, there's more scientists and more like scientists are going missing all the time now. Um, and engineers and things like that. Anyone who's been working with the government and secret labs or whatever's going on, all of a sudden they're missing or dead or both. Who knows? But um, with that being said, whenever you see a post like that, or even a post mentioning the CDC or Fauci or COVID or whatever, like just share my channel and say, I found somebody who really looked into this. Because the more you share, the more it's going to get eyes on it. And again, this is not a personal, like, me trying to step up a goalpost. Like, I actually found what I believe to be legitimate, relevant information. And I think people should see it. Okay. So that's it and that's all. But back to what I was saying though, that's why I don't anticipate that there will be any response as of yet. And if there is, that would be great. We will wait and see. And like I mentioned in my bonus episode, you can only hide the truth for so long, and it can only be swept under the rug for so long. Eventually, it may not even come from me. Somebody else with a bigger following might start doing a deep dive on this case and blow it open as well. So it may not be me. It may not be someone else. It may be somebody in the long distance future. All the people that were involved in this situation may not even be around anymore by the time the truth comes out. With that being said, it will still come out. I fully believe that. What is done in the dark will be brought to the light, always. It just is. And that's another reason why I do what I do, because oftentimes I get people that are like, "Well, it's pointless. Like nothing's ever going to happen. These people are always going to get away with it." And yeah, I realize that. I don't think that we're going to win the fight. I think we're going to win a lot of battles along the way, but the fight, well, the end fight, we all know we're going to win, right? The very end of the last fight, God wins. We know who wins, right? But I'm talking about like just in the immediate sense of like seeing justice for like the Mr. E victims and seeing justice for Timmy Turner and Charlie Kirk and things like that. And maybe Charlie Kirk, we might actually get to see something considering how many people are looking into it. Because that's what it takes. It reminds me of the Lorax. That quote, it's unless unless someone cares a whole awful lot, nothing's gonna change. It's just not. And there's some truth to that. So um yeah, I understand that there's not going to be like an immediate change. Like, oh, we're putting handcuffs on them. They're going, like, I get that part. But even if you're not going to win, like, let's say we know we're not going to win. We know they're not going to be prosecuted. We know that they're just going to get away with it. Fine. But don't you want to at least go down fighting? Or do you just want to sit there and take it? You're just going to sit there and not even try. Personally, I can't. That's what my channel is about. My channel is we're going to go down swinging. We're going down. We're not going down without a fight. Like we're going to fight on our way down. Like if I start getting doxxed or they start trying to take down my channel or they start trying to, worst case scenario, physically affect me or whatever, financially affect me, it doesn't matter. I'm going down fighting. I'm going down telling the truth. I'm going down searching for the truth. That's it and that's all. I'm not just going to lay down and take it. We're going to go down fighting. Okay? So that's what we're going to do today. Um so sorry, I just went on like a little side quest there about that, but I just thought it was worth mentioning as to like, if you're wondering like did they ever respond? How come we're not getting a response on that? And that's just my opinion as to why. So I wouldn't expect one, at least right now, and maybe sometime in the future we might come back to this and be like, "Hey, remember that situation? Well, guess what? Look what's happening now." So, just keep this in your mind. Remember in the future. Remember this in the future. When our channel has grown and people look back on this and it starts to ruffle those feathers that need to be ruffled because they think they're safe, because they think no one cares, wait until people start caring. It's going to be crazy. Remember this moment. We're going to come back to it. I just fully believe that. I do. I just do. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys looked at any of the shorts that I posted, but one of them showed um a video clip of a news clip from one of Timmy Turner's friends here. Okay. This is Matt Pearl, and he went to what's called Leaders in Atlanta or Atlanta Leadership or something like that. We're going to go into that in a moment. But it's basically an organization where people can go and work on their leadership skills if they want to get into leadership positions. And most of the people that were in that group did. So like for example, Cortez Stafford, he was the head of the fire department. He was the guy talking um about how difficult it was to pull his body out of the river and all of that. he was also involved in the same organization at the same time. That's how they all knew each other. So this news anchor, Cortez Stafford, the fire department chief, and Timmy Turner all went to this. They also had other mutual friends that also went to this at the same time. Some of them now work in the FBI. Some of them are now state senators in Georgia. So they all went on to go do very prominent um, government roles, except for Matt Pearl here, who's a journalist, but whether or not he works for or with the government, I can't say for sure, but I'll leave that up for you guys to decide. But let's hear what he has to say about his friend Tim. Let's hear what he has to say and what he thinks about his friend here. Sorry if it's loud. Prepare yourself if it's loud. It might be loud. Turn your volume down now because it seriously might actually be loud. Just give me one second. I just want to move myself out of the way here. All right, and here we go.
I knew Tim Cunningham. I call him a friend. We weren't great friends, and most photos were a few people apart, but I knew him enough to say the following for sure. Tim was a massive pain in the butt. And that is a massive compliment, one of the highest I can give to anyone trying to do good. Tim did well.
All right, so I'm going to stop right here. He says, Tim was a massive pain in the butt. And I say that as a compliment because he was trying to do good. So now, with everything we know so far, if you were just watching this for the first time without any context, you might think, oh, that's kind of endearing. That's kind of endearing. Because at first you're like, pain in the butt, why would you say that about your friend? And then all of a sudden he's like, and I say that as a compliment because he was like always trying to do the right thing and it makes it more difficult because obviously the right thing isn't always the easy thing, right? So, like I said, without knowing that, you know, he knows all of these different people and all of these different groups and he's involved in these rituals, um, and he's involved in politics and his parents are involved in this, then you would probably not second guess that. But now knowing all of that, it kind of makes you look at this a little bit differently. So just keep that in mind as we listen in here.
In the butt. And that is a massive compliment, one of the highest I can give to anyone trying to do good. Tim did well. Morehouse graduate, Harvard graduate, employee at the CDC. But more than that, he did good for people who too often don't have a voice like Tim's behind them. I met Tim through Lead Atlanta, a leadership program that's
Lead Atlanta. So I'm gonna stop here again. So just want to make sure I'm not in the way. Okay, I'm not. So over here, there's Cortez Stafford. That is the chief fire department guy there that was talking during the press conference. Down here, I believe, is that friend. Her name is Alicia Moore, I believe. And she's the one who now currently works for the FBI, but she used to work for the sheriff department. Here's Matt Pearl right there. I don't know that it matters, but I don't know if you notice they're all on this side, and then Tim is right here, over here on this side. I don't know who really any of these people are. I think I've seen him a couple times going through certain things, but yeah, any of these people here, maybe her, not sure about them. Maybe him I've seen around and searching things, but I haven't really seen much of these people being like involved in this story, at least publicly. Um, but yeah, so there's Cortez Stafford over here, and then you have Matt Pearl here, and then you have Alicia here. And they're all good friends. And I know this if you look at, like I said, the shorts that I posted, which I could actually pull up here in a moment. That they all went out for Timmy Turner's. Actually, you know what? Let me pull it up now. I'm just gonna pull it up. Because why not? You know? Why not? It's my show. I can do whatever I want, right? I can do whatever I want. I can show whatever I want here. This is my world. This is my playhouse. All right. Anyway, so let me try to see if I can find it. Maybe it's this one. Well, I put it in a few.
If you got hurt that night, they would drop you off at the hospital and they would leave you and tell them that you was working on.
That is not it. It is this one, but I'm gonna turn the volume down because it's like not as it's just music. It's not relevant. So right here, I don't know if you guys caught this, but if you can zoom in here, this is Timmy Turner's dad. This is Timmy Turner's mom. Okay, this is Lieutenant General Harris here. He posted on Facebook and he was congratulating her and that's fine and everything. This isn't inherently like a bad thing. It's just something I noticed because remember when I told you that he had 3 crystals in his pocket and those 3 crystals, like the number 3 specifically just seems very weird to me. And why the fact that they felt the need to mention it seems very weird to me. It just like out of all the things, I mean, it just seems so irrelevant. Like if somebody died with rocks in their pockets, like you would think it wouldn't even make it into the like why does that matter? It seems so irrelevant. But it mattered enough that they even had to like clarify how many exactly he had in his pockets. So, and the fact that it was like mentioned in the news story as well of his sister saying like she was aware that he had them and it made him freak out because he's like, how did you know I bought those? And then he started closing down his bank accounts and everything, which makes you wonder, was he being watched? Is that how they found out that he bought those without him telling them that he bought them? And then he realized, like, oh, they're tracking my purchases. Okay. Um, and then since they knew that he bought that and they had a track record of it, then they could put that in his pockets or something. And I don't know, or maybe he was into the occult stuff for all I know, considering he was a part of these groups that are in like fraternities and all of that. So I don't know. We were told that he's an avid crystal collector. However, they never showed the crystals. We don't see them ever at any point. You would think that they would provide that as part of the evidence. Like, oh, here's the crystals that were in his pocket. But they don't. It almost seems as if they weren't even there. Okay, so I just like it's just very weird to me. All of that is weird. But with that being said, 3 crystals can come from stars. That's how they're formed. Okay? And here his dad says, "Congratulations to Lieutenant General Harris. You see the 3 stars." And I'm aware that that's because she was given 3 stars on her for her rank. Okay? But I've never seen it, and I know this because I tried looking into it. I'm like, is that a common saying? Is that something you tell somebody? And if it is, please tell me in the comments because I don't want to, um, insinuate something that could just be something very innocent. And it's possible that it is, but I have not been able to see this replicated in any other circumstance where they mention, oh, you're seeing the 3 stars. Because the 3 stars is often referenced in Prince Hall Masonry, which is the African American version or the black version, if you want to call it that, of the Freemasonry. Okay. So to say you see the 3 stars, it just seems like, okay, did she just get initiated into this? Is that why we're celebrating? I don't know. It was just weird to me. Okay, and then here's that. This is the Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Georgia specifically. Says August 22nd of 1870, so obviously this has been around for a while. But here, right below the street, in their symbol, in their badge, or whatever, their symbolism of like what they are, their seal, their company seal, if you want to call it that, right here, 3 stars. And if you notice, like I said, in a lot of these pictures, they're holding up 3 fingers. They're doing like the little Illuminati sign or whatever. Like that's intentional. That's usually insinuates that they're part of some sort of secret society. So that's why I found that to be weird, and that's why I put that in there. And then here, while I was doing some digging, I found somebody actually had this as their profile picture. Um, and if you Google it, the Masons, there's a lot of, see right here, it says the world's oldest fraternity. Gosh, I can't talk right now. The world's oldest fraternity. So it's just like the grant, like you've reached the best potential fraternity once you get in there, which makes sense because that's how, I mean, you'd be surprised how many people are part of those. Um, but anyway, so the United States and Freemasonry kind of go hand in hand. There's a lot of people who join both. And I'm not saying that that's inherently bad. Like every single person that's in the military is part of this, and every single Mason has been in the military and vice versa, whatever. I'm just saying that it's a lot of them are, and sometimes it's just really for like the brotherhood. Like that's just kind of the environment, right? They're with their brothers, they go through trials and tribulations together, they go through a lot together, especially if they end up getting deployed. Um, so it's just another way to, it's just what they're used to. They're used to being part of these organizations and these groups um in that way. So sometimes it's just that. Other times it's more than that. So there's like kind of like what Candace Owens will tell you, like she'll say things like, "This is not your grandfather's Freemasonry. Like this is like this is the deep Freemasonry. This is like the satanic occult Masonry. This is not the same." So yeah, there's some. Honestly, I feel like it's so secret that even the people in the secret society don't even know that it exists, except for the people that are in like the deep secret society. That's how secret it is. Yet it's funny because they feel like I mean, it's part of their thing is they have to tell you they're doing it too. So that's why you see them with like their hand signals, and they say secret things, and they'll do a post and be like, "Oh, you see the 3 stars." And it's like it's so vague and it could mean anything, but yeah, just something to think about. And here, of course, this was a news article right around the time he was disappeared. And then you have Anne Shushat here, who was the deputy director of the CDC at the time. And it's funny because they used, what I found to be odd about this picture is, so Timmy Turner went missing in 2018. They didn't even use, so they had a press conference about this issue. I don't know if it was live. I can't find the footage anywhere. I can't find actual photographs of that press conference anywhere because they used an old picture to talk about it. So it says at a daily briefing on April 11th, 2016. Shushat, now acting director of the CDC, has issued a statement on March 12th about missing CDC employee Timmy. You can read. So I thought it was odd that you're using a picture that's 2 years old while this guy's missing. So like not sure why that's necessary. And then if you look here in the background, there's Fauci standing in the background, which says, he was there in 2016. And we know he was there throughout that whole time. So he was there. Do with that information what you will. But I just thought, out of all the pictures, you're going to choose a picture that has him standing in the background, not up front, not front and center, but there. It's almost like, to me personally, if I was a family member and I was like aware that he was missing and I was aware of why he was missing and who could have been um involved in that, if I saw this picture and they're were announcing that they're, hoping for his return and saying that the family is offered a reward and yada yada, and that they had a press conference, and then this is the picture that they decided to go with, to me, I would take that as them sending me a message. They want me to know something here. They're trying to tell me something. Like, in a, like, almost like a, so you know. So you know who did it. That's how I feel about the 3 crystals in his pockets too. Is it was a message. This is one of my theories, is that it's a secret message that only the family would understand, that so they know what happened without telling them exactly what happened. If you get what I'm saying. Like, they're expected to read in between the lines here. So if I saw this picture, I'd be like, "Oh, no. Something I hope he comes back safe." Like, I'd be freaking out. Like, I don't know if they're gonna give him back. That's what I'd be thinking. Okay? And then when he was eventually found, and then they're like, "Oh, yeah, he had 3 crystals in his pockets and everything," I'd be like, "Okay. So they handled it. Alright." And then, like, obviously, you can't say anything about it if you don't want the same thing to happen to you or anyone that you care about, right? So you just say, "I just want my son to rest in peace," and you move on with your life, knowing that there's nothing that you can do about that, right? So that's one theory. I would say that's like my main theory right now, because I just find it odd that like they would use this picture if it didn't have some sort of meaning to it. And I could be overthinking it. Um, I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist, whatever." Okay, fine, maybe. It's just weird. So do with that information what you will, like I said. Um, Hold on one second here. Let's continue on here. Back to what I was mainly
I
talking
knew
about.
Tim
Went off to the
Cunningham. I
side.
call him a friend. We weren't great friends. Was a massive pain.
Here we go. So this is them at their house. It's hard for me to zoom in here, but am I in the way now? Because I know yeah. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. I am so tired. I haven't gotten a lot of sleep lately. So I'm not on my A game today, but you're here with me anyway, and I love you for that. So thank you. Anyway, so here, if you look, this is Matt Pearl. This must be his child, I'm assuming, because he's holding it like in a pouch. I believe this is his wife. Um, anyway, here we have so these are some people from Lead Atlanta. Here's Stafford, Cortez Stafford here. Again, this lady, she works for CNN now. She's there. She was in the Lead Atlanta. Like, all of these people are pretty much in there. I can't say that everybody was, but a lot of these people were in that group that Tim was also in. And this was them. They went out. I don't know if this was the day of the funeral or not. Um, I just know that this was posted on the day of the funeral. So this could have been a separate day. And I think that it was, because they're not even wearing the same clothes. So it looks as though that they all went out as friends and Tim is not there. So I don't know how old or recent this clip or this picture was taken. If it was taken that day and they all just went and changed clothes or something and went back to go hang out, or if this had taken place while he was missing, in which case I would think would be weird, because aren't you guys all friends? Like, wouldn't you be looking for your missing friend? Um, in either case, Tim's not in this picture, but they all claim to be friends. I don't know. And I know he's a busy guy, so it could just been like he's always busy. I don't know. But anyway, so there they all are. And then, yep, there's the zoom ins, there's that Matt Pearl, and there's Cortez Stafford. Here they are. This is the day of Timmy Turner's funeral. Okay. We are out. We are laughing. We are smiling. We are having a great time. Okay, I get it. Like sometimes, you're not just going to be sitting there just like depressed all day, every day for like no end or whatever. And this is the 22nd of April. So this is, a couple weeks out from him being found. So they could have already kind of like gotten past their grieving process. But you would think like the day of like the funeral or the celebration of life or whatever, that it would be kind of somber. But they're like, oh no, let's go out for fajitas and drinks. And it's beyond that. It's just like they're just having like, I don't know. Like it just seems like and again, don't, who am I to judge how people grieve? You know what I'm saying? Like I just like maybe it's not right for me to be like, "Oh, I don't know what was happening behind scenes." Maybe they like forced a smile for the camera to get a picture, right? So, it could just be that, right? Maybe they're crying behind the scenes. I don't know. And I'm not saying that they have to cry on camera for anybody, they don't have to prove anything to me or anybody else. I'm just saying like I don't know that if one of my friends died that I would be able to um be this happy even if I was pretending. It would just be kind of like a like this is not a great time. It's just so weird. And then I don't know if they ever actually even went to the celebration of life because I've seen like the pictures from like family members and other friends that were at the celebration of life and it was at like some party room. I don't know if it was at Morehouse or if it was at a separate location. But yeah, it was like some giant room and there was like tons of people there and they had a projector with like his pictures and everything playing and I don't see that here. I see them out at like a Teresa's or something. I don't know what's going on here. They're at like a sports bar. I don't get it. Again, people grieve differently. We're aware of that. We've seen 52 Shades of before. Here we go again. It's like, okay, even if you're taking these pictures on the day of the celebration of life or whatever. Okay, and again, this is the fire the chief of the fire department at this time. This is his friend whom he was actually out looking for, by the way. They didn't mention that in any of the like I only figured that out because if you look in some of these news articles or these news videos, he's in the background there. He's in the background handing out flyers, walking around with people, looking for Tim Cunningham or Timmy Turner. Gosh. And yeah, so it's just odd to me. It's like you seem to care enough that you're out looking for him, and then you happen to be the one who gets the call and you have to help get him out of the water. I mean, you would think that that would bother you. Your friend that you went to Lead Atlanta with and whatever, right? You would think that would bother you. But no, you're out here just like look at this. Like I don't know. It doesn't seem and like I said, I don't anticipate for people to just be like so distraught that like they just can't even like carry on their life to any degree. I mean, some people can. I mean, it like close relatives and stuff, like if your wife or husband dies, like I can't imagine. Well, there are some wives that maybe will be able to go on and do fireworks shows and whatever. So let me back that up a little bit. Well, there's only one that I know of. There's only one that I know of. We all know who I'm talking about. But outside of that, like very niche circumstance, because I've never seen anybody else grieve that way. Um, outside of that, typically people tend to be a little bit more reserved. Okay. It's not a happy time. It's kind of inappropriate, even. It's kind of um distasteful. It's like if I was his parents and if they're watching now, um, I would look at this and think, these were my these were my son's friends. they're out here, joking and palling around and laughing and smiling. And yeah, again, it's like, okay, fine. Maybe you weren't that close. Maybe you're like more of acquaintances or anything, things, whatever. But I don't think that it would be appropriate to then take these pictures and then post them the exact same day as his celebration of life, where people are truly grieving. Um, and it looks like you're celebrating. It's just weird to me. It's distasteful, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I'm allowed to have it. This is my show. That's what I feel. That's my opinion. You guys are entitled to your opinion. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but it seems weird. Okay, so I just thought that was worth pointing that out. Again, here we go. This is April Moore. She is, or at least that's what her name is on Facebook, and she said right here, my lead 2014 classmate, Cortez Stafford. Obviously they still have a close relationship all these years later. It's 2019 now. And you know, we're out. She goes jogging. She's a runner, by the way. So she runs. She posts pictures of herself running quite a bit. I have my thoughts about it. They're very, very, very speculative, but I just thought it was kind of interesting that she is a runner. Like that's like to the point where she's like doing marathons, like she has it in her bio. It's like a lot of her who she is. And the fact that like that was the assumption for Timmy Turner that day was like he went out jogging was just a little, I don't know, it's just a little weird to me. But moving on. Here, so this is Lead Atlanta, okay? So here she is now. Now she's like a part of that team now. So she first was just like going there as like for class, and now she's like helping run the organization, or at least that's what it looks like. And she says, y'all know the sorors always find a reason to throw up so they're sorority sisters. They're all part of the same sorority. And the triangle one, she is part of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Okay. That is the one that is known, and I highly suggest like go look up some videos. I'll show one of them here, and if you want, I highly suggest go watch the full clip if you have nothing else to do tonight. If you're bored, even if you're not bored, it's so informational and has really opened my eyes to how some of these things work. I highly suggest that you watch it, and it's going to help you understand this case all the more. So we'll go into that in a second. But yes, so that triangle sign, and then of course that is the symbol of their company as well, a triangle. So it makes you wonder, like is this a Delta? Is this entire company basically just like a secret society? Is that what this is? It seems like it because it produces media people who work for CNN as a broadcaster, local news, who go on to do even more news. And then the way that they're reporting it, it's like it seems narrative official. It seems narrative pushing versus being actually informational, you know? Like giving like the whole company just allowed you to just give your own personal opinion about your friend on the show for that night. Like I don't know. That seems kind of like I don't know. In some cases it might be a conflict of interest because you're given power, you're influencing people in a way. Like people trust you. You're on the news. You're on an official news channel and people trust you and what you're saying. And so then whatever you say about him in that moment, they're going to trust that it's true. So I don't know. It just seems all very odd to me. Anyway, moving on. Again, the hand signals. This is typically you see this a lot in There's other fraternities that use this as well, but also Freemasonry uses that. Of course, the Illuminati, we're aware of that. But yeah, I mean, these are the people that are involved. These are the sheriffs. They're working in the police departments. Okay? So it's all a little too connected for me for it to not be weird. Okay? Like, because at the end of the day, there's so many different people that are connected to Timmy Turner that are involved in these sororities, fraternities, secret societies, whatever you want to call them, that are all, I mean, the coincidence of them all having the exact government roles that were needed to um look for him, find him, and investigate what happened to him, and then put it on the media as to what happened to him, to be a journalist, to then report on what happened to him. So you have almost all of the people around him, friends, mostly friends. Basically, like I said, they're in police departments, fire departments. They're involved in the investigation of why, where did he go missing. They're responsible for trying to find him. They're responsible for figuring out what happened to him once they did find him. And then he has friends in the media who are responsible for reporting on what happened to him. It's just odd. And then, like I said, they even, for some reason, decided to interview Joe Carlos, of all people. And it looked like it was Matt Pearl that was interviewing him at his home, like a year later. And he's showing pictures from like 4 or 5 years ago. Like, what is the point of that? Don't you have a more recent picture with the guy? I don't get it. It's just, it doesn't seem like you guys were that close. Even in all of his pictures, like Timmy Turner isn't mentioned. A lot of the pictures he has with Tim in them, it's like he was just there as like, he's there because he was a part of their group, but that doesn't mean that they were close. I think he was just a part of the people there. Because he's never mentioned as like, "Oh, Tim, he came out tonight. This is great." Like there's so many pictures of him on his social media with like other people around that time, and they're like, you can tell that they're friends. Like they're hugging on each other, they're big smiles on their face. And then even when, like I said, when there's ones where Tim is there, it's like you see he's, big smile on his face around all of his other buddies, and then Tim's kind of like off to the side, a few people down or lots of people down, and he's just there smiling casually, normally, calmly. So I don't know. I'm not seeing any evidence to suggest, until any evidence is brought forward to me that isn't pictures of him 5 years prior before he died or whatever. But like recent messages, recent things to suggest that they were actually going to, um, that they were actually hanging out. I know that he said that they were supposed to go to a gala, and that would have been at Morehouse. Again, a lot of these galas are secret society groups that meet up there. Okay. So I'm not insinuating that that's what that was that night, but sometimes that's the case, or at least that's what I've heard or seen online. Okay. But that was what he said. He said that we had that plan to do that. But that would just be us having to take his word for it. So until I see some sort of like correspondence or actual messages between the two of them actually like wanting to do something like that, and going together, and them just not being in the same place at the same time because they both work at the same place, you know, yeah. Anyway, moving on. Again, there's Shaq. No hate to Shaq or anything, but the fact that, like they have access to those kind of and that's what I'm saying. Like they're around famous people all the time. They're around famous politicians, all of it. So, that's not by, happenstance. It's not random. Like, oh, look, he just showed up randomly. Like, no, like this is they know each other. This is a whole community of people that relate to one another based upon what parts of groups they're involved in. Okay? Whether or not Shaq is or not, I don't know. And I don't have the time to look into it. I'm sure someone already probably has. Here we go. This is her celebrating our Founders Day. Delta sorority, and then here she is. That picture was from 2025 or March 28th, 2025. So she's now involved with the FBI, I guess they found his body there. Here he is. This is what I'm saying. Like, this was an interview where his parents were on, I don't know if it was CBS or what, but they were talking to somebody about their son and hoping that he comes home and all of that. And then here he is. There's Cortez Stafford. He's out here handing out flyers and whatever. You don't hear any of that mentioned ever at any point. Like nobody, it's there, it's on the TV, but it's so fast. It's like 1 second. They show him for like 1 second. Here he is again, back here. And you know what else I find to be weird? So they're wearing maroon. I don't know if that was the color of the day. I don't think so, because Morehouse is a maroon color. So I think they were in it, because this says Morehouse College, I believe, if you zoom in. And then he's wearing a maroon shirt. If you notice here, these two guys are dressed very similar. So these two guys are dressed very similar. These two guys are dressed very similar. You got black jacket, black jacket. This one looks like a dress jacket. And then here he's wearing a jacket. And that's the other thing too, is everybody's wearing jackets except for Cortez Stafford. Now, I don't know why that is. I don't know if that is because whether it's part of some form of like humiliation ritual or whatever, I don't know, or if he just forgot to bring a jacket or what. But if you look on every news clip of this day, even his father standing outside, all of the volunteers standing outside, they're all in sweaters and coats. I'm assuming it was a cold day that day. So he is quite literally the only one walking around in a t-shirt. And I just noticed it. I just thought it was weird. There they all are again. And then, yep, this is Matt Pearl. He was given the NPPA award back in so this was literally like a year after he was found. Or he was given the 2019 award in 2020. So 2 years later. So it says for nearly 70 years, the NPPA has given this to someone with outstanding technical achievements, supporting and advancing the best interests of the visual journalism community. How does a local journalist go from reporting things in Atlanta, Georgia, to then within a year getting like awards? I don't know. I mean, and I don't know if he's Jewish or not. It seems like he might be. I didn't see him post anything about Christmas on his page. I could have missed it. So don't quote me on that, but I didn't see it. So yeah. Again, I'm not there's certain people where it's like, yes, they are see again, there's that hand signal. I'm telling you, he was surrounded by so many of these types of people. So I actually believe that he had to have been involved himself. I don't see that he wasn't, especially with him holding hands at that ritual at Joe Carlos's wedding. I truly do believe that he was a part of these, whether innocently or not, we can debate that all day long. I don't know. Regardless, I don't think that it means that he deserved what happened to him. but I do think that he got involved in certain situations and he wanted to be involved in politics. He wanted to be involved in government. These were aspirations of his. We read his letter in college of what his goals were. That's part of being in Lead Atlanta, and we'll get into that here in a second. But that is really what it is he wanted to be involved in these circles. And a lot of times in order to be involved in those circles, you have to be around certain people. And it would be foolish to think that the powers that be are not involved in some of that. Okay? It would just be foolish to think otherwise. It's almost kind of like we can get out of that. I just wanted to go into that as we're going through this here. So yeah, let's continue.
Produced some of our city's most distinguished through Lead Atlanta, a leadership program that's produced some of our city's most distinguished citizens. And in a class of 50 where everyone stood out, Tim never backed down. He spoke with passion that those fighting poverty shouldn't settle, shouldn't accept raw deals for a short-term tease, shouldn't accept prejudice and institutional traps simply because that's how it's always been done. And he demanded those of us with megaphones, whether on TV or in top-floor offices, to use them right, or make room for those who will. 2 years after we graduated Lead, Tim and I came back to help plan a day for a future class, all about education. Our team had developed a strong outline, done some nice work, when Tim interrupted. Why aren't we talking first about poverty? He said we should scrap the plan and refocus the day, because you can't talk about challenges in education without first addressing inequalities facing our children. Some of the team, including me, hesitated. We had done some good work. We had developed a good day. But Tim demanded great of himself and of any orbit he happened to cross. He was a pain, but he was right. As I followed the coverage and conversation about my friend, I've seen a gaping hole. So many want to focus on what happened, how it happened. And we've all heard about Tim's work with the CDC. But there's a side of Tim that hasn't been heard, the side that worked behind the scenes in so many spheres to fight for those who need it. In Atlanta, where the divide between the haves and have-nots is wider than most of us ever see, voices like Tim's are crucial and rare. I'm in a Facebook group of friends, acquaintances, and colleagues who formed to help find Tim when he went missing. And we don't talk much about why or how, and we certainly don't dwell on conspiracies, because this isn't a whodunit. It's not a mystery. It's a tragedy. And as someone who prides myself on telling...
All right, I'm going to stop right here. So he admits it right here. I'm in a friend group, okay, with acquaintances. So I'm assuming then, and this is my assumption, but knowing what we know, it would be a good educated guess that Cortez Stafford is probably in that group. Maybe some others. And it would be, the fact that they're in this group and they're talking about it and they're saying, hold on, let me rewind this. I want to make sure that I heard that correctly.
And we don't talk much about why or how, and we certainly don't dwell on conspiracies, because
we don't talk much about why or how. Why does that need to be stated on the news? Why is that? It's almost like he's trying to get ahead of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's trying to get ahead before, in case anybody starts questioning things, like maybe his family, for example, and they start saying, well, you should look into these Lead Atlanta people. It's almost like they're like trying to get ahead of it to say like, oh, well, don't look. We weren't talking about why or how or what or anything. We weren't doing any of that. It's just weird that you would feel the need to mention that and then say, oh, we don't dwell on conspiracies. That's another thing. It's like you have Joe Carlos like, oh, it's just these conspiracies. He would think, they're just beneath him. It's like this, it's just like this constant push to call everybody a conspiracy theorist that's asking questions about it. This guy. We're not dwelling on conspiracy theories. We don't care. We're not looking into the why or the how. Well, don't you think you should be? Don't you think maybe you should be? Isn't that your job as a journalist? I mean, forget being a friend, like at this point. I mean, I'm looking into the why and the how as a new uh independent journalist slash truth seeker, whatever. I'm looking into the why. I'm looking into the how. Even in the Charlie Kirk case, Candace, Barron, and many, many others are looking into the why and the how. Who, why, and how. Whatever. So like no, that's exactly what you should be doing. I don't follow. It's not tracking, it's not clocking. It doesn't make sense. It's almost like you're telling us that, oh, well, his own friends, we were friends, we weren't great friends, but we were friends. And, he wanted to get to the bottom of things. I thought we were done, but he demanded. And it's like, okay, so you're saying he was demanding, he wanted to do the right thing, you wanted to be done, and you're in a group chat, you're in a group message, and you guys aren't talking about the why and the how, and you're not dwelling on conspiracy theories or anything like that. It's like, what? My God, please, Lord God, please, I pray right now, please keep these type of friends away from me. Please do not ever let these type of friends into my life. If I ever go missing, or I find up, if I end up, in a situation where people are saying I committed suicide, please do not let these friends find me. Please, Lord. I want friends like Candace. I want friends like myself. Like, please turn on a camera and get on YouTube and say, like, this. I know, I'm telling you right now, I've watched this lady enough. I know she wouldn't do that. There's something wrong here. And even if it's a conspiracy theory, I want to look into it to make sure that it's not something important, that there isn't any information there that shouldn't be looked into. I'm not leaving any stone uncovered. Especially as a journalist, like your job is to actually like go and look into these things. I don't, whatever. It's so beyond me, honestly.
I'm in a Facebook group of friends, acquaintances, and colleagues who formed to help find Tim when he went missing. And we don't
Oh yeah, we know that because we saw Cortez. Okay, so Cortez Stafford, he was out there looking for him, so we know that, and all the other people.
talk much about
And it's
why
funny that they all formed to go and look out for him. So they're in this Facebook group. Gosh, man, I wish like I could look into this Facebook group. But so they're all getting together, they're talking like, "Oh, let's go help look for him." Right? It's so weird.
why or how, and we certainly don't dwell on conspiracies, because this isn't a whodunit. It's not a mystery. It's a tragedy. And as someone who prides myself on telling the stories of untold Atlanta, I find Tim's untold story critical. So many of us want to do good, but we see the tall odds, take care not to offend, and we need a good pain in the butt to rile us up. Tim was that pain. I feel first for his family and next for those who knew him best. But I also feel for the rest of us. Our city and truly our world has lost someone who fought for it and for all of us to be better, who fought for people who might never know of his voice and effort. And to fight that hard, to be Tim's kind of pain, is to be the kind of person who deserves his story told. For Untold Atlanta, I'm Matt Pearl.
Yeah. So there's that. We got through it. I wanted to watch this video, but I don't think we're gonna be able to get to that today. But I did want to, let me pull this up. I wanted to go over the Lead Atlanta thing. So we'll go over this and then we'll be ending this here in a little bit. This is gonna be a shorter episode. Can't Can't do 5-hour episodes every time. Some of them require 5 hours of work. It just does, unfortunately. This is not going to be one of those episodes. So Lead Atlanta is an intensive 8-month leadership development and community education program targeted at promising young professionals in Metro Atlanta. Class participants range between the ages of 27 and 34 through personal and professional development and broad exposure to the community. Lead Atlanta aims to equip young leaders early in their careers with the skills and knowledge needed to be an effective leader committed to the common good. Established in 2004 as an initiative of Leadership Atlanta, the program is distinguished by its unique integration of personal, professional, and community education. Lead Atlanta boasts a diverse roster of accomplished alumni. These young leaders and all who follow their example represent the next generation of Metro Atlanta's leaders. So it literally just sounds like a mill that pumps out their new investigators, their new reporters, their new CDC workers, and that's what I'm saying. Is like I genuinely feel like this is like the hub of where they come out of. Like I'm so I wonder if it's a nonprofit. Like if there's anybody who's watching this that knows how to like look into like if you're like a wolves and finance enthusiast or like you're kind of into that, like someone like that. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. Um there are things that I'm good at. That's not one of them. Is looking into like the finances and things like that. But I'd be curious to know like who's funding this, who's donating to this, what nonprofits are they involved in? There's just something about this organization that makes me feel uneasy. It just makes me feel uneasy. Um anyway, so that's Lead Atlanta. That's like the point of it. That's what it is. Um I don't know if it's like a mill that does that or whatever. That's just that part of it is just my opinion. Um but it just seems like it. Here's Timmy Turner's phone. This is a picture from one of the articles. They took a picture of his phone here. I will read to you some of what is on it here. It is very weird because um they have a lot of it redacted. So they have who it's from is redacted. Why it needs to be redacted, I don't know. Where have we seen this before? Where have we seen this before? Like there's no victims in this. There's no victims in this other than Timmy Turner. So why is whoever sending him like we should be able to see who sent him these messages. I want to know who sent him these text messages. Like why is that not public information at this point? The fact that it's redacted is a huge red flag for me, given everything we know about the Mr. E files now. So this top one here it says, hey, it's kind of like that's the thing is like they have a lot of it like whited out for some reason. It looks like it says, "Hey, what's going on?" This was sent on Saturday at 11:54 p.m. And then on Friday at 10:42 p.m., Tim, it's something something at Lake High School. Heard you were missing and I'm worried about you. I'm praying for your safe return. I don't know. That seems a little weird. I mean, maybe it's just kind of like if I thought my friend was missing, I would text them and be like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, are you they're saying you're missing. Are you actually missing? Like, can you respond?" But to say like it almost looks like these are staged text messages. Maybe not. Maybe somebody talks like that, but it's just because I don't know who sent this. But to say I'm praying for your safe return, that assumes that, you know, they're assuming that he was like taken maybe. I don't know. I'm praying for your safe return. That's so weird to say that. Um and then the next message is from who knows because it's redacted and it says, "Hey boo." Now for those of you who don't know that, that's a term of endear. It's like basically like saying, "Hey, baby." But boo, that's what that is. "Hey, boo." That was sent on Friday at 9 p.m., which if that other message was sent an hour later, almost an hour and a half later, you would the one saying, "I'm praying for your safe return," you would then wonder that the person who messaged him before that, like, are you not aware that they're missing? Because obviously other people are aware. Just weird. And then the one before that, Friday at 9:06 p.m. "Hey Tim, reaching out to see if you are okay." See, now that seems genuine. Cause that's what I would do. I'd be like, "Hey, are you okay? Like I heard, I've been hearing some crazy. Are you okay?" Um, and then on Friday at 7:46 p.m., there's a redacted and it says call exclamation 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 and then says his full name. So it's like call and then Timmy Turner. So it almost sounds like that maybe is from his parents, maybe. I don't know. More on this later, but I just wanted to show you guys his phone um so that the information's out there because I can't make sense of them and maybe someone else can. So, there's that. And then again, here we go. So this is February 18th of 2018. Timmy Turner went missing. I believe it was like February 12th or something like that, or February 6th. I can't remember anymore. It was the beginning of February. Um, and actually let's just be accurate here. Let's just real quick. Just gonna look it up. Hmm. See, this is what real journalists do. They try to be accurate. Like, because otherwise it's just irresponsible. Okay, yeah. So it was the 12th. He went missing on the 12th of February. All right. So now here we are. This is February 18th. So 6 days later. So your friend, I mean, you claim this is your friend, right? Like you're so close that you're giving these interviews a year later saying the conspiracies would be beneath him. Like you would know that. Like I don't know that you know him that well. I don't know that they would be beneath him because I don't know him at all. But I mean, your friend's out here. He's been missing for 6 days, and you're out here at a black tie event, living your best life. You're out here partying. Your friend's missing. What are you doing? I don't get it. Like, what is? I thought that was your friend. Okay, just odd to me. And then I'm going to look. We're not going to cover that today. But here I'm going to end it with this. So this is a post in a family um like get together or a family reunion type group. They do these yearly, it seems like, and that's great. That's not a problem. Um but Timmy Turner's mother, Tia Juana Cunningham, posted on July 29th of 2018 in this group. Allegedly. I mean, this is her account here posting. And this is so he was found on April 3rd, I believe. Um, Yes, April 3rd of 2018. So pull this down again. Sorry, I am just, you can tell my brain is fried. I'm not getting a lot of sleep. Um, but yeah. So she posted this on July 29th. He was found on April 3rd. So this is about 3 months, a little over 3 months, almost 4 months after he was found. And she posted in this group and she said, "Good morning, family. I am so excited for the interest everyone is showing for this upcoming reunion. We have only a year to plan. Keep the energy going. Pray about your input in making this event the best ever. Love you, family." Okay. Um, again, this goes back into the whole everybody grieves differently, you know. I don't know that I should be judging, but I would say like if there's anybody that is grieves the way that Erica Kirk grieves, it would be Timmy Turner's mom in this instance. Like we are 3 months out. Granted, Erica Kirk takes the cake with being like a week out or 2 weeks out. But like we're 3 months out. Y- your son was found in a river, supposedly committed the short route home, and you're out here excited about planning an event that's a year from now. And you're saying, keep the energy going. Where have we heard that before? Like full steam ahead. We're gonna keep going. Nothing's stopping. We gotta keep that momentum. We got a family reunion to plan, guys. I'm not gonna be sad. I'm not gonna be over here just sad. Like, I mean, God, if my son, I mean, that's the thing is the difference between Erica Kirk and Tia is that Erica lost her husband, Tia lost her son. I don't know that I would ever be the same. I don't know that I would ever plan another party ever again for the rest of my life. And I know that sounds sad and depressing, but and maybe at some point I probably would learn to live life again. I don't know what it's like to lose a child. Um, I can imagine that life will never ever be the same. And maybe at some point you can start to pick up the pieces and live somewhat of a normal life. Never the same, but somewhat normal. But I can't imagine that it would be 3 months out. You know, like I feel like it would be, I mean, to have this amount of enthusiasm. And the thing is they have quite a large family. So the fact that she's even in charge of doing it, like I feel like if it were me personally, I would be like, look, someone else is gonna have to take the reins on this year. Like we just found my son deceased. I am not capable of managing this right now. And I think everybody would understand. Like they would just be like, yeah, I'll handle it this year, you know? Um, but just to come out like with this much enthusiasm and be like, yeah, we're planning. And then there's like some more posts of her like, send me this and send me that so I can get things together. And it's like, did you not just find your son deceased in a river? Am I missing like am I going crazy? Like were people and people saw this and were like, yeah, great. This is great. Um anyway, and then I'll just leave it here too. So again, I'm not sure that that's compelling in any way. Again, this episode was all about me showing you things that I found that I just thought were different, odd data points. Especially like you have to remember when it's not something that was highly reported, but it was reported that there was pictures in Timmy Turner's house and all of them were upright except for pictures of his parents. They were turned upside down. Okay. Um so again, it's a data point. I don't have any information to suggest that they were like involved to any extent in his disappearance or the result of his death. Um I just feel like their behavior and certain things that have been reported and certain things that they have said and certain organizations that they seem to be a part of are um they're interesting. They're interesting in a way that makes you just look at it in a way that's not so definitive, because nobody goes like, oh, nobody would even think about that. Who thinks like, oh, look into the parents, right? Um, but I'm just saying, and I said that on the very first start of this show, was everybody was being put on the table. And this is an open investigation. This is my personal, individual, independent, open, truth-seeking investigation, and everybody is being looked into. And if they didn't do anything, then they have nothing to worry about because I won't find anything then, and they won't, um, again, they won't have anything to worry about. If anything, if they know that, they're going to be excited because hopefully we will find something then that will show more, or maybe even have someone come forward with more information at some point. So, just wanted to state that. But here, like I said, we have to remember the fact that their pictures were upside down. I think that's a data point here. But someone commented on his missing flyer and they said, "Did anyone see his mom's plea over the news? It didn't sound like she thought he was abducted or hurt. She sounds like she's trying to tell him it's safe to come home for whatever reason. It's probably not actually safe. I think this man knows something that would destroy a lot of illusions people have." And this comment is 8 years old. It's significant because it is 8 years later. And after looking into the circumstances, the people around him, the people giving statements, who they are, who their acquaintances are, who their family members are, who Timmy Turner himself was, what he was involved in, what his goals were, who he worked for, and then reading and then kind of coming to that realization myself just based off of all of that alone, and then finding this comment was very chilling to me. It was very chilling because in my mind it makes me wonder, does this person know something and they put this comment because they know that to be true, or was it a lucky guess? But to say, I think this man knows something that would destroy a lot of illusions people have was chilling to me. It is chilling to me because I think that's the truth. I think that's the truth. I think that story that we watched earlier of Matt Pearl talking about how he was a pain in the butt and he just wanted to do the right thing, and other people were just maybe not on board with that. Not necessarily not doing the right thing. It was just they thought it was good enough, or they just want to do what they need to do. And he's like, no, 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 we got to do it right. This isn't okay. There's people that are hurting, right? And I thought it was interesting that the topic was about education. They were supposed to get together and talk about how to educate kids. Well, he was going to Morehouse and he was giving lectures there for free. Remember? And he was even donating to Morehouse. He didn't have any money and he's donating to them because he's working there for free. As if he has the time to do those things. Apparently, he was stretched thin on time. So you have to ask yourself, is he going to Morehouse and giving these speeches because it's something he's just personally passionate about, or is it a part of his job in this role that he's been put into? Is it something he doesn't really have a choice? He's not allowed to say no. And he's a part of this Lead Atlanta group, right? And it seems like they're an organization that wants to create people that get into these prominent positions. And then apparently they come back after years later. It's like you've graduated. Now all of a sudden you're coming back to a round table to talk about education and so it's like they are directly involved in cultivating like the next generation of people. it seems like they are it seems to me like with all of that, what it looks like to me, and again, this is just my opinion, it seems like they are trying to um, teach you what they're being told to teach you. They are being given a script and saying, this is what you need to teach the next generation of people. This is what they need to believe. This is what we need them to believe. And maybe it had gotten to a point where he wasn't going to do that. He cared too much and wasn't going to do that. Could it be that? Maybe. But I just thought that that was interesting. That was the topic that was they were getting back together for, was further education for the next group of people. And to that, back to the Carlos family here, um the Alina Lewis, his sister-in-law, she is involved in education. And interestingly enough, um her family was involved in education. And we might get into that here soon too, because that is that might be a long segment there. Getting into her family. Yeah, it's gonna be a long episode and I just don't have it in me. As a matter of fact, now's a good time for me to let you guys know that I don't know if I can commit to the once a week thing at this time for temporarily. Okay. I do want to do once a week. I'm still going to try to. Like, it's going to be my goal and I'm hoping that I can. I just don't know that I can guarantee it for the next month or so, because I don't know if I mentioned this before. I think I have, but my house had water damage to it, and our insurance company and the HOA's insurance company have been like fighting each other as to like who's responsible for the cost. And so we've been like pretty much packed up and ready to move when they start the construction for a while now. So it's been extremely stressful, but B, there was a moment where like it seemed like things were about to start, the ball was going to get rolling, and so we were going to have to move, and then obviously it would be difficult for me to have like my whole setup wherever we're going. So I was going to have to take like a little bit of a break on that. But outside of that, like it's just kind of like, oh, we're going to do it. Oh, we're not going to do it. Oh, we're going to do it. So I've just been doing my show once a week, knowing that this could happen any week. But we're at a point again now where they're like making it seem like we're like any minute they're going to start construction. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that if that happens, then I might have to take a little bit of a break, and it might just be I'm probably going to talk about like current events and stuff like that. Instead of, we might have to like put a pause in the Timmy Turner case. And honestly, I think that's okay for now, just because I already have all the information I need on the case. It's just a matter of presenting it to you and being able to present it to you. Um, and I think that we overall have covered quite a bit. So it might just be like, hey, we're putting a pin in this. And then as soon as my house is done, then we'll come back to it. But that's only if they start construction. Because otherwise, if I'm still here next week, then we'll just continue on here. But if they start construction and I have to do my videos like out of my car again or whatever, then I'll just talk to you guys about current events, and hopefully there's still stuff to talk about. Hopefully we're not, starting, I don't want to speak it into existence, but hopefully, this this war gets wrapped up and gas prices come down, and that would be lovely. And hopefully, like I said on X, the infighting or the in whatever is going on could be done too, because really, we really do just need to work together. We're all on the same team. And yeah. So, all right. Well, with that being said, I am going to end it here. And I will hopefully see you guys next week. Again, as always, if I'm not going to do an episode or I'm not going to do a show, I will post on YouTube and I will post on X too so that you are aware of that. And yeah, otherwise, I'll just, I'll hop in my car, turn on my camera, and I'll say hello to you. Okay. All right. Well, you guys have a great rest of your weekend. And for all my moms, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day tomorrow. Get a rest. And I'll see you next week. Okay. Bye.